funny story. I went to the bank today with my mom, and she set up a banking account, like a checking account for me, because I'm 20 and I haven't had a account set up yet, and I haven't had a job yet, but I just put in an application for Domino's today, right after we went there the first time, because my mom wanted to deposit stuff into her card, and so we did that, and then we went to drop off Domino's. I had filled out a paper application and I went to drop it off, and so they're gonna contact me soon. And then I went back to the bank after we went to the thrift store where we got little baby Mario and this cup, the anti-spill cup. And yeah, so after that we went to the bank again to fill everything out. We had set up basically like an appointment to do so, which gave us an hour between being at the thrift store and going back to the bank. And so then we eventually did, and it took a while, but that's fine. That's life. We told her my dead name, and she was gawking about how pretty my name was, and I told her that I was planning on changing it, and she was like, no! No, you can't. Why would you want to do that? Because my dead name is so unique. And I was like, and she was like, you can just change your name because you want to. And my mom's like, yeah, you just have to go to town hall and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I have a reason. And she was like, what? And I was like, I'm transgender, transmasc. And she was like, oh. And she told me a story about how she knew a little boy who was transgender, and his mother was very accepting and trying to transition him. He was female to male, and the whole time this woman was like misgendering this child, and she was like, the little boy was 12, and she asked me if I knew when I was 12, and I said I knew I was trans when I was 13, but I came out as non-binary first. And she was like, oh, okay. And the whole time she called me like my mom's daughter, or like ma'am, and she didn't refer to me as a boy at all. And then she apologized for calling me a little girl, because she thought that by referring to me as a baby or like a younger person, it was disrespectful. And my mom was like, oh, she's not, she as in me. I'm not very offended by things, which she's right. Because if I was, I would be like, why are you calling me a girl after I told you I'm a boy? But I really couldn't care less. I don't look the part, so I don't expect people to think of me as a boy, so. But I do have like my binder coming soon from it's like Parts of Pride or something like that. It's supposed to arrive on the 9th. I hope I got the correct size because I was supposed to correct it and make sure that the size was right. I chose a medium and I really probably should have chosen a large because I just need to make sure. But it's too late. So let's just hope that it fits. If it doesn't, oh well. I'll be able to afford one if I get hired at Domino's. I really hope that they will because the Domino's that opened up in town, it just opened up, so they probably need employees, which is meaning I might have a higher chance of getting hired there. But I don't want to jinx it. And I don't want to be too optimistic, like I don't want to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get this job, because when I have a mindset like that and then it doesn't happen, I get crushed way too easily. My mom thinks it's ridiculous that I'm thinking like, well, I might not have it. Well, if I say I'm going to have it and then I don't, that fucks with my brain, so I'm not gonna do that to myself. I already struggle as much as I do, so I'm not gonna make myself feel any worse just cause I want to have a positive mindset. And I don't know if people realize, but having like depression or like these kinds of mental health stuff, I'm pretty sure these are disorders. Like, I'm pretty sure a disorder is a disability, a mental disability. And by brushing it off and saying this and that about it, like it's not a big deal, like, sure, it may not be the biggest deal, but like it's still kind of like ableism to go and say shit about how someone thinks and feels based off of like their depression or like ADHD, anxiety, whatever. Like, you don't need to do that. And the fact that I also am autistic is like, that doesn't help either. I'm doing what I know is gonna help me, and for some reason when I talk to my mom about this, she says she's stronger than her mind. She's ignored the fact that she had ADHD or any mental illness because she didn't want it to hold her back. She says she's a fighter, but she was putting up a mask, and she hasn't been letting herself be who she was. Like, she didn't let that mask go or acknowledge the fact that she had those disorders until recently. So she can't be like, that's just cruelty to yourself. How can you do that to yourself? I would rather live my authentic life and take medication to have a better authentic life, because living with anxiety, like extreme social anxiety, is not fun. That's why I take meds for it. And the meds are supposed to help me with my depression, but it doesn't help me with my gender dysphoria, which fuels a lot of my depression. But that's why I have therapy and all of that stuff. And when we were at the thrift store, I asked my mom if it was dumb for me to get this, and I was also holding a regular sippy cup, and she said yes to me, and I asked that as a joke mainly. I was like, would it be dumb if I got a sippy cup or some shit? She said yes, you need to grow up and stop doing that little space thing, and I was like, I straight up told her no. Like, I told her that little space makes me comfortable. I am not gonna give up on it. I would rather be happy with my childish ways than force myself to be this mature adult that, like, that's so boring. Why would you want something boring? I would rather drink out of a sippy cup and be happy than drink out of, like, a fucking a regular cup and want to kill myself, you know? I mean, it's the little things in life. And if I want to have stuffed animals and little cartoon characters and just all of these things that are technically childish, but they make me happy, then why wouldn't I? It's not gonna hurt nobody. And I know how to be an adult if I want to be. I mean, I literally went out to do an adult thing. I can have these and still be an adult. It's not gonna kill me. I'm not gonna revert back into, like, a baby. Literally. I'm not, like, age regression and stuff is a tool. It is not something to be ashamed of. It's for my mental health. If I didn't have something to just be free feeling like that, because letting out your inner child is very freeing. It is a very freeing feeling. If I didn't get to do that, I think that my life would be a lot worse. And so her telling me that I should stop that just doesn't work for me. I'm going to tell her no if it is very certain in my brain that I should speak up for myself in situations like that. I mainly wanted to talk about the trans story, but I got a little carried away with the other stuff that came to mind. But other than all of this, I really am unbothered by everything. I know that some people would be more bothered by it, but I mostly live in stealth mode most of the time. Stealth mode in, like, that I present as a cis woman rather than cis male. And maybe someday I will get to present as a cis male, but my transition goals are still going to be gender non-conforming, so it really doesn't bother me that badly if somebody doesn't understand. I don't really mind if people don't understand, as long as they still have respect when they find out the truth. If they don't know my gender and they just go with whatever they think I am, that's fine. But if they do know my gender and they ignore that, it just depends on the reasoning, I guess. Like, what are their motives for not calling me the correct pronouns or gender identity, even if they know it? I could tell that the woman that was calling me by the incorrect pronouns and gender identity didn't have any ill intent. So I know that this stuff is, like, newer for the older generation, I guess, because I don't really have to think about this stuff. And I just prefer to keep the peace. So as long as I'm not feeling dysphoric and it's really not that important to me at the moment, and it's not gonna offend me. And I know how to keep my mouth shut even if something does offend me, since I have to do that all the time anyways with the place that I live in. There are people that I live with that I have to tiptoe around to not, you know, anger or, you know, because if I do, it could put me in harm's way, so I usually keep to myself all the time. It's not really the healthiest thing in the world, but it's what I do. And this little Mario plushie is like having a piece of my fiance with me, because his favorite character isn't the baby version of Mario, but it is Mario. I like the baby version of Mario though, and I don't know. My favorite Mario character is actually Luigi, but another thing that I could share is that I plan to get a fidget cube, a dodecahedron fidget cube. I'll put a picture somewhere on the screen of what it would look like and stuff. But I've been pretty excited about that. My mom said that she would get me the dodecahedron fidget cube. It's a fidget cube with 12 sides, and it kind of looks like a hexagon, which is the dodecahedron is the name of the 3D hexagon. It has a hexagon has 6 sides. The dodecahedron has 12 sides. So the dodecahedron fidget cube is a dodecahedron shaped fidget toy with a different fidget on each side. So there's 12 different fidgets. It has a little silicone rope that you can use to hang it on things like backpacks or whatever, or to just hold it. It has a thumb spot. It has some gears. It has some buttons, a switch. It has some little rubber balls on it, and a lot of other things. And it's just, I've always wanted a fidget cube of any kind, but the dodecahedron fidget cube is currently my hyperfixation while I'm excited to receive it. And I don't know, maybe if I continue making videos like this, I might just like use it and something for y'all to look at while I speak, and it'll probably help me focus on what I'm talking about, because right now I'm just holding this and kind of fidgeting with the rubber part of the top of this, this is why it's able to not spill, by the way, because of the rubber. But I'm just excited about that because I do have a fidget toy, but it's up over like behind me, and I've had it up there for some time. I used to like fidget with it regularly, and it was kind of like a gag that I would do with my fiance, because it's a slug. I can go get it. Okay, so this is it, and this one is not actually mine. I stole this one from my brother. Mine has a pink head, and it's in my backpack. I have them both here, and you kind of just shake them and you can pop off the pieces, but I don't really recommend that because you can break it and then you can't put them back together. Um, However, I'm very careful with mine when I do that, but I still wouldn't recommend it. Like, this one comes off pretty easily. But for the one with the blue head, I had fidgeted with it like that because I used to do it with mine, and I almost broke it, so I just stopped. You're supposed to, like, you know, do stuff like this, or shake it. I think you're mostly just supposed to shake it for the sound. Or it's just like something you can hold, because a lot of the times people just need something in their hand, which is why I like little plushes like this, especially one with like this little body and big head. You could squeeze it and it's cute to look at. That's what I like about stuff like that. The plastic is cold. It usually is cold. And it just makes a little sound. Like, there's no really real satisfyingness out of the fidget toy. It's just a rainbow slug, and they also come in solid colors or like more limited colors. I think I saw one that was just blue or just pink or just a solid color, which is kind of boring. I like the rainbow ones, and I definitely like this one better than I do this one, even though the only real difference is the color of the head. But like, I don't know, I just like mine more. I think I just like the color better with the pink head. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say.